is episode 10 of A Drink from Upstream. So maybe you've had somebody say to you, preacher or teacher from the Bible, I want to share a secret from the Bible with you. And that's kind of funny language to me because in truth, if it's from the Bible, it's not a secret. It's actually been in print for at least 2,000 years, whatever it is that they're trying to share with you. So Old Testament, even longer than that. So what I want to share with you today is not a secret. In fact, though it could revolutionize your relationships. And that's not I'm not overstating that. It will definitely help improve your relationships, but it could revolutionize them if you would take this to heart. So in the book of Ephesians, which is one of the letters to the churches in the New Testament, the Apostle Paul is writing to the church and helping them understand what they should believe about Jesus and how they can live their faith out in the context of everyday life. And in one section, chapter 5, he's talking about the relationships between husbands and wives. And so he's instructing husbands on how to treat their wives how to treat their husbands. And at the end of that instruction, he says this, and it's Ephesians chapter 5, verse 33. However, he says, let each one of you love his wife as himself. So he's instructing husbands, love your wife. And he says, the wife, see that she respects her husband. And so this is again kind of the summary of what he's been saying here. So husbands are commanded to love their wives, and wives are commanded to respect their husbands. Now, these principles of love and respect, in fact, you might recognize that there was a book that came out, maybe 20 years ago by Dr. Emerson Eggerichs called Love and Respect. And it was based off this passage of scripture. And it's actually some of the clearest, best teaching on biblical marriage that you can find. Very practical, but very theologically sound. And so I would recommend that book. In fact, in his book, Dr. Eggerichs talks about the crazy cycle. And so he describes the crazy cycle as this, that without love, the husband without respect, the husband responds without love, and without love, the wife responds without respect. And so the argument here that he makes between husbands and wives, I want to take not just from the context of marriage, but all of our relationships. So myself as a husband, I need to take this in, but also I have a daughter, and I also work with women. And so likewise, my wife, she is a wife, so she's got to take this in, but she's also the mom of 2 young men. And also she works with men. So the whole love and respect concept that's commanded to husbands and wives is actually, we can broaden that and say it's actually true for all of our relationships, even among siblings. So think about it like this, that what we find here is that a man or a male's deepest need is to be respected. And a woman or a female's deepest need is to be loved. It isn't that men don't need love and women don't need respect. That's definitely true as well, but their deepest need, their fundamental first need is for the men respect, for the women love. And so when a man doesn't get what his deepest need met, he responds in unloving ways. And we see this played out time and again in homes and in businesses and in churches across the world. And the same thing with wives. When they don't get their deepest needs met, which is love, then they respond in disrespectful ways. And so, which is for men, the biggest turnoff there is. And likewise for women, when they don't feel loved, that's the biggest turnoff there is for them. And so it's just a very, very sound principle that if we apply it to our lives, not just with our marriages, but all of our lives, for a man naturally shows another man respect, and for one man to disrespect another man, that's like those are fighting words type of thing, right? So I've used this illustration before that in this context that if you come to me and you say, Brent, if a man comes to me and says, Brent, I really don't know that I love you, I'd be like, well, that's a bummer. But if you came to me and said, Brent, I don't respect you, now that's a bigger issue. I'd be like, what do you mean you don't respect me? Tell me why that is. That's a major issue. And so here's the principle that I want you to think through in all of your relationships. So if you're a male and you're married, you've got a wife. If you're a husband, or if you're a father, you've got children. So the way, as a husband and as a father, if you have boys and girls, you need to be careful how you treat them. The boys need respect. You need to teach them that you respect them as males, and the girls need love, and they need it. So they have different needs there. And think about it in your workplaces. If you're a woman and if you're the boss of men, if you're a woman and you're the boss of men, but you don't treat those men with respect, but you treat them lovingly, see, that's where that doesn't do it for them. They need respect. And so we can think through all of these dynamics, and even parents, teach your children. If you've got mixed siblings, boys and girls, you've got to train those boys that they need to show love to their sisters, and you're training them how to treat women in general, and you're training them how they should treat their wife when they grow up and get married. And the same thing, you've got to teach those girls, they've got to show respect to the boys. And remember, this isn't about their behavior. Certainly men should be respectable and women should be loving, but the commandment comes not conditioned. So husbands are to love their wives, not because their wives are so loving or because they're so respectful, but because God is commanding husbands to love their wives. Likewise, wives are commanded to respect their husbands, not because their husbands are super respectful or because they've been so loving, but because God has said that's what you're supposed to do. And so the responsibility is that. So we have to process this at every level of our relationships, in the workplace, in our homes, within the church. And remember, men need respect, women need love. And if we will practice this, it will definitely help our relationships. And in some cases, if you'll really take it to heart, it'll revolutionize your relationships. So it's not a secret from the Bible. It's been in print for a couple of millennia, but hopefully you can apply that and it will be helpful for you. There's a drink from Upstream. God bless you.